I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into NXT from July the 14th, 2026. This was an okay episode of NXT. This episode was very filler. Whenever you have a show with the Vanity Project on the card, on the show twice, and you got OTM involved as well, you already know it's going to be a filler show, and that it was. Same thing with Sean Spears. He was on this show as well. Ugh. The women, as per usual, they've been holding it down for a while. They continue to hold it down. The men, they need help. They really, really do. And I don't know how they can get the help they need, but they desperately need help. The main event scene is okay, but you need more than Tony D'Angelo and Nakaru. Mason Rook is not ready. He just got there. He's not ready. So I don't know, man. And then the mid-card in NXT is okay for the men, but I don't know. But this episode was okay. All right, so we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. It was really long, and that was the Vanity Project defeating Sean Legacy and Dorian Von Dukes, DVD, for the NXT Tag Team Championships. This match was actually quite fun. The crowd was super into it. Sean Legacy did some crazy shit in this match. Same thing with Dorian Von Dukes. These guys are a great-ass tag team. Man, this was great. The match was too long for my liking, but I had fun with it nonetheless. And Shawn Michaels seems to love him, the Vanity Project, for sure. He really loves those guys for whatever reason. So the Vanity Project, they ended up winning via the double foot stomp reverse DDT combination for the 1-2-3, which is fine. So I did like that. So cool stuff there. Again, I don't know what team is going to dethrone the Vanity Project. I don't know what team that would be, because they really don't have any credible teams in NXT. They really don't. So there's that. I kind of wish that the Creed brothers were back down in NXT, honestly. They have done not much of anything outside of doing stuff in AAA, which is fine, but they should really be realistically back in NXT. They really should. They've been gone from NXT for about a good 2 years now, I think. At least a good 2 years. Because I think they got caught up in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Miles Bourne. So, Miles Bourne, he's backstage talking to Taven Heights in the locker room. Miles really thought that Sean Legacy and Dorian Von Dukes had the Vanity Project beat. Miles is looking forward to seeing Tavion put Jackson Drake through the mat tonight. If Miles started seeing the Vanity Project wearing gold, Tavion knows two stallions who could get the job done. It would be no sweat. So Cam Hendricks, he shows up. Cam loved how they worked out their issues last week. Brothers from another mother. It really touches Cam's heartstrings. Cam tells Miles not to get ahead of himself because he needs to worry about the NXT North American Championship. Fun fact, Cam ended up pinning Miles in his debut match. Tavion says that Cam is living in the past. Cam has a choice to go, chose to go after Tony D'Angelo first. However, Cam can go to Robert Stone's office and collect his opportunity at the North American Championship. Lucky for Miles, Cam, the Health Master, is at 82.6% this week. Don't worry, it's going to be showtime soon. Miles says if Mason Rook gets to him first, not if Mason Rook gets to him first. So Cam walks away. Tavion says that Cam has never been healthy. Tavion has to lock in on Jackson Drake, but Miles should think about what he said about going after the tag team titles. Okay, that's fine. So it seems like they probably are going to have No Quarter Catch Crew reunite, which is fine. That makes sense, honestly. Why wouldn't you? All right, moving on from that, this leads us into Saquon Sugars. So he's looking for, he was looking at Sean Legacy and Dorian Von Dukes. So OTM, they appear. So Saquon, he, tells them he's looking for a tag team partner. They say, nah, not after what you did with Dark State. So OTM tells Saquon to get out of their face. Saquon had the numbers game, and now his goofy ass is all alone. Saquon made his bed. Now he has to lay in it. So the Birthright, they show up, and they have some words with OTM. Uriah Connor says that Nico has his mind split between NXT and AAA, which is true. Lexus King is trying to drive a wedge between OTM because Bronco is doing AAA. As in AAA for his family. Bronco tells Lexus to keep his brother's name out of his mouth. Lexus tells OTM to stop coming after them because this is an issue they need to figure out on themselves. Looks like the first crack in the foundation of OTM. Okay, this is fine, I guess. Whatever. Who really cares about this, honestly? I don't. Moving on, this leads us into Tristian Angels. So, Tristian Angels cut a promo. He says that God has a very strange sense of humor. When he first created men like Shiloh Hill, somebody who's more than happy to walk around here with mud in his boots, filth beneath his fingernails, a family tree consisting of raccoons, and less teeth than a Victorian peasant. I like that. That was funny. However, the good Lord was clearly overcome with remorse that he sent me, Tristian Angels, as an apology. Now he's taking it upon himself to repossess Shiloh Hill's tooth so that he can no longer fool all of you into thinking that he's normal or somewhat respectable. Shiloh, without this tooth, everyone sees you for who you really are and for what he's known him all along to be, and that is nothing more than a creepy hillbilly weirdo that was never fit to sit across the ring from someone like himself, Tristian Angels. I like that. So Tristian says that he will not let Shiloh lie to himself anymore, which is why he should do him this favor now. So he then stomps on the fake tooth repeatedly on the ring steps. So, lights go out. Shiloh appears on the Titantron. So he just starts spazzing out and says that you're right. The tooth did make me look normal. Having it did help my smile, but losing it in the first place is what helped my mind. Perception isn't always reality, Tristian. I can't fix my smile, but you can't fix the fact that now the fog is coming. The fog is coming. And then he continues to say that over and over again, and then he begins to laugh maniacally. So clearly they're giving him this, like, Bray Wyatt gimmick, which is okay, but there was only one Bray Wyatt, and, Bray was phenomenal. He was great. He was awesome. But Tristian Angel, my bad, but Shiloh Hill is no Bray Wyatt. And I don't really like this. I really don't. Right? But this is fine. This feud should end soon. So maybe we'll get the end. We'll get the conclusion of this probably on NXT television. I doubt if it's going to be at Heatwave. That's too far away. That's like a month out. Well, a month and a half out. So I don't really know. But This feud needs to end soon, honestly. Moving on, this leads us into Izzy Dame and Lizzie Rain. They're bickering with each other in Robert Stone's office. So Natty and company, they appear. Nikita Lyons, Carmen Petrovich, and Lola Diggs. So she's rocking a shoulder sling, so she's injured, basically, clearly. Natty says that nobody should be in consideration for the Women's North American Championship match except them, because last week Layla more than earned her shot for the group. Natty tells Layla that she doesn't get to talk because she got hurt. Natty says that it's Nikita's turn to step up for the group. Izzy says that she deserves the opportunity because she didn't get pinned in the number one contenders match. Looking around, she's the only person who's been a former women's North American champion. Robert Stone says he's had enough of the bickering. Tonight it's going to be Zarya putting her title on the line in a fatal four-way against Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dame, and Nikita Lyons. Okay, that's fine there, I guess. That's fine. I figured that would happen. Apparently, Layla got injured during an NXT house show. I believe that was over the weekend. I think it was either Friday or Saturday, something like that. It's unfortunate. Layla's fucking awesome. She's great. I love Miss Layla Diggs. She's really good. So she'll be out for a little bit. Maybe probably 6 to 8 weeks, probably, more than likely, depending on how bad, the shoulder injury was. So, there's that. Moving on from that, Nakaru defeats Tate Wilder. This match was okay, actually. So, there's that. Didn't last too long. Maybe about a good 6-7 minutes, I guess. So Nakaru wins via Into the Abyss. So post-match, Tony D'Angelo shows up and they ended up brawling. So that's fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into EK Prosper. He's chatting with Hank and Tank in the back. Hank says that he got medically cleared to compete, and next week he says he's running right through Keanu Carver. EK says that Keanu is a freight train that doesn't stop. Hank says that he's going to get his payback for what happened after the Great American Bash. So Saquon shows up. He tries to convince Hank and Tank to help him out for next week. So they have some words, basically, and they turn down the offer. So EK tells Saquon to cut it out. How can they expect to trust Saquon after when he walks around with a baseball bat? Hank tells Saquon that he's on his own until he shows he's changed with his actions, not his words. Okay, that's fine. Moving on, this leads us into the Fatal 4-Way. Zarya ends up retaining the Women's NXT North American Championship. The Fatal 4-Way was actually kind of fun. Very good shit here. I thoroughly enjoyed it. All four women brought it. So towards the end of the match, basically, Natalya and company, they showed up to get involved, and Carmen Petrovich. Then Jada Parker showed up. They had a brawl to the back. The finish came down when Zarya ended up pinning. Was it Nikita who took the pin? No. It wasn't Nikita who took the pin. It was it was Nikita who took the pin. So Zarya ended up hitting the spear, followed by F5 for the 1-2-3, which is fine. I actually like this. This was actually kind of fun here. So really good stuff here. Even though I'm not a fan of multi-person matches, I'm just not. But I see where they're going with this. Clearly they're going to feud Izzy Lizzie together, which is fine. That makes perfect sense. And apparently, I found out that Lizzie Rain was on Main Event, which is pathetic. It's like Lizzie's only been in NXT for about maybe a month and a half at best, and she's already doing matches on main event. What the fuck is going on? This makes no sense. So, this is fine, I guess. Whatever. But the match was solid, though. Moving on from that, this leads us into Saquon Sugars. He's talking with Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair. So, he says Sean Legacy in DVD doesn't want to team with Saquon, and neither do Hank and Tank. Nobody wants to go to war with him next week. He doesn't understand what's going on. Kendall says that Saquon really hasn't really given anyone a reason to be his friend. Ren apologizes because sometimes Kendall Gray says the first thing that pops into her head without realizing whether it's rude or not. Ren says the past is the past, but if Saquon really wants to start having friends, he can join the Ren QCC. They celebrate with cake. So Lola Vice shows up. Lola tells Saquon to shut up. I'm like, damn. Lola says, she tells Kendall that they're not done yet, mama. She says she's going to take her championship back. And Kendall says that Lola better win tonight then. And Lola says she will. Okay, that is fine. This makes perfect sense. Moving on from that. So, Tony D'Angelo, he barges into Robert Stone's office. Mr. Stone tells Tony to calm down. He says, why isn't that Naraku can burn D'Angelo and nearly make him blind, yet Mr. Stone has referees and security guards pulling off of that bastard. Robert Stone says that he has a job to do. Tony D'Angelo wants another match with Naraku, and he doesn't care whether we do it his way or Stone's way. Stone says that he's trying to protect Tony D'Angelo. Protect him from what? As general manager, Robert Stone has to do what's best for NXT. And next week, it's going to be a rematch. Tony D'Angelo versus Naraku. And then Tony says that's good, but it's not good enough because he's waiting for 7 days. Okay, that's fine. This is an okay feud here between Tony D'Angelo and Naraku. I actually kind of like it. It's pretty fun. Moving on from that, Jackson Drake defeats Tavion Heights. The Vanity Project ended up getting involved. And, yeah. So, Miles Bourne came out, too, I think. Well, I really wasn't paying attention watching this match all too much. But they love some Jackson Drake, though. So, there's that. Moving on. Raina Vulcan. She was on this show, a.k.a. Nikki Blackheart. So she says that her soul has always had a voice that demanded more. Because history has a sound, and it sounds like barriers breaking. It's a sound of generations finally being represented. Nature doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't care who gets swept away. Neither does the first Dominican superstar in WWE. You see beauty. You mistake it for weakness. You judge the cover because it's less scarier than expecting what's inevitable. And while you're busy admiring the view, you never notice a volcano waking up under your feet. I wasn't born to meet your expectations. I was born to destroy them. You will remember the name Raina Vulcan. Not because she begged for a seat at the table, but because I flipped the damn table over. She's an endangered species, one of one. I won't negotiate. I won't compromise. And the greatest disaster won't announce themselves. By the time you realize who Raina Vulcan really is, your favorites will be buried underneath the wreckage that she will leave behind. And this division will belong to me. I am Raina Vulcan. I am the force of nature. NXT isn't going to survive me. It's going to suffer. It's going to suffer me. And then she's going to make her debut next week. So this is really good. I actually did like this. This was excellent. Really, really good shit here. I really hope the long-term goal is for her to be the one who dethrones Zarya for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And we need to get that match, not ASAP, but actually build up to that match. I think that would be fucking awesome. I would love that. I really would love that. That would be great. This was really good promo. This was a really, really good backstage promo. This is a really good vignette. Loved it. Where's Tatum Paxley, though? So moving on from that, Saquon Sugars, he runs into Noam Dar and Romeo Minoru in the back. So they finally join Saquon after Romeo was talking to Noam, telling him, let's give him a chance. This is our opportunity, yada, yada, yada. So, there's that. Okay, that's fine. So this makes sense, I guess, whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into Kendall Gray. She tells Ren Sinclair that she doesn't care who wins tonight's Triple Threats. When she became the NXT Women's Champion, she knew every week was going to be a dogfight. Natty proved that last week. Kendall wouldn't mind running it back with Kelly Armstrong. So Callie shows up, and her and Kendall, they have some words, basically. So, there's that. And then Jada Parker shows up for whatever reason. And she wants to know why Jada's staring at her, that being Callie. So Jada tells Callie to keep that same energy because Lola and Kelani won't care about her cute nicknames. And then Jada gets jumped by Natalya and company. Okay, so there's that. Moving on from that, we had a Sean Spears vignette. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this. He's going to be taking on Nika Vance next week. Oh, my God. Ugh. Moving on, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Lola Vice defeats Kelani Jordan and Kelly Armstrong. She's now the new number one contender to the NXT Women's Championship, which is fine. The finish was kind of boring. So Lola ended up hitting a spinning back fist, and then Kelani ended up hitting the 450, and Lola, clocked Kelani, and then she ended up hitting Callie off the 450. And that's how she won the match. This is kind of why I hate triple threat matches. I really do. I figured they were going to do a boring finish like this, but it's fine. Lola Vice winning, to me, I don't have a problem with it. I honestly thought they were going to do Callie and Kendall to get that out of the way. But I guess they got something else planned for Callie. It seems, I guess. Because I think when they give it to Kelani, she's going to end up winning the title. So I do think she will be champion at some point. I really do. I just don't know when. I feel like they're going to give Kendall a pretty decent run with the title. I think Kendall will probably be champion for the remainder of the year, honestly. We've got 5 months left. So, I mean, I don't see why she would lose. I do see Lola Vice losing her rematch. And I could see her either going to AAA, going there, staying there for a while. I mean, she's been going there, but I'm saying, her being there, staying there for a while. I don't see her going to the main roster yet, although they kind of need her, but not really. Because I don't know how Triple H would honestly book Lola. I really don't. And to me, she's not ready promo-wise anyway. I'm sorry. She's not, ready promo-wise. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think that Lola's going to end up losing her rematch, and I guess she'll just go to AAA for a while at some point. Because they're not going to turn her heel. Why would they turn her heel? That'd be dumb. And I don't think she's ready for the main roster yet. There's not, any slots available. Like, we've got so many newcomers there already that it makes no sense. Like, where would you put her? Would you put her on SmackDown with Damian Priest? I mean, you got Mariah May, who just got there. Fatal Influence, they just got there. They've only been there for like 2 or 3 months. Well, for them, 2 months, well, 3 months. And Mariah May just got there, so no. But I mean, the match was okay. This was fine, I guess. So moving on from that, Tony D'Angelo and Nakaru ended up brawling in the parking lot, and then Robert Stone tried to break it up. And then he says that next week is going to be a street fight for the NXT for the NXT Championship. So this is fine. Tony D'Angelo probably is going to end up retaining. I don't see him losing here. It would make no sense. He just won the title like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. There's no need for him to drop it to Nakaru just yet. I do think that maybe Mike Santana will show up. Mike Santana's contract with TNA is up on July 15th. And I do think he'll probably end up showing up at NXT probably next week or the week after. Do we need a vignette? Do we need vignettes for Mike Santana? The answer is no, we don't. I do think that he'll end up showing up next week, more than likely. But NXT, for the most part, was okay. The women, they continue to hold it down. The men, they need help. They really need help. So, there's that. But all in all, like I said before, NXT was okay. But what did you guys think? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.